God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. Sometimes He has set me free. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. He's been good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. He gives me strength and energy. God helps me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how it started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying, God has smiled on me. He's been good. Let me tell you,
God has
smile on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set
me free.
Let me say it.
God has
Yeah.
smiled on me.
One more time.
Good.
I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up.
God has smiled on
Yeah.
me. He's been
I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled.
Morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another week of National Action Network Live. And in the words of our great late attorney Michael Hardy, when you hear the cry, no justice, no peace, you know you are where the action is. My name is Nancy Darlene Crawford, and I'm your host for this morning's broadcast. Today, we will hear reports on what NAN is doing across the country and are joined by various leaders of our community and in the nation, bringing to you how you can get involved and get into the action with National Action Network Now. Our keynote speaker today is none other than our president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. We welcome all of you who have joined us here today live at the House of Justice Auditorium, located at 106 West 145th Street in the corner of Lenox Avenue, here in the village of Harlem. Welcome to those that are watching us via live stream on our social media platforms and our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. During the Saturday Action Rally, we have a segment here called What's on Your Mind. We invite you to email us at nanwhatsonyourmind@gmail.com or call us live at 877-626-4651 and share with us a brief account of what issues are concerning you most that you want the broader community to be aware of. We invite you to call us, email us, what's on your mind today. The NAN Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, May 12th here at the House of Justice Auditorium. Kevin Livingston of 100 Suits is hosting Huddle on Monday on gun violence prevention, mental health awareness, and workforce development. Spread the word and get into the action with our youngest and brightest dreamers of today and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on the NAN Youth Huddle experience, you can call 877-626-4651 or email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Tune in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, live on MSNBC. Here are some announcements to keep you in the know. Justice for Tyree Nichols. On Wednesday, a Tennessee jury acquitted 3 former Memphis police officers of state charges for the horrific fatal beating of Tyree Nichols. Reverend Sharpton, who delivered the eulogy for Tyree in 2023 after his horrendous death, led the call for justice with his family then and expressed his disgust at this verdict now. Tyree should be alive, and the National Action Network will continue to stand with his loved ones in demanding accountability. Reverend Sharpton released the following powerful statement following the shocking verdict. This afternoon, I see Tyree's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wells, and we are all completely outraged by this acquittal. Mr. Wells noted in our discussion that the prosecution put on a good case. My understanding is that this was an all-white jury brought in from Chattanooga and not even the citizens of Memphis, which was even more egregious to me. It is also absurd that the city of Memphis has taken no responsibility, claiming these officers acted on their own when it was the rough tactics of the since disbanded Viper Squad that empowered them to commit this brutal beating as Tyree called out for his mother. Justice can still be delivered. These officers were also convicted on federal charges for which we believe the justice system must now demand the maximum sentence. Tyree's death was preventable, inexcusable, and tragic. Met Gala. Reverend Sharpton took the time out this week to hit the red carpet at the 2025 Met Gala, also known as fashion's biggest night. Everyone from Diana Ross to Janelle Monáe and Stevie Wonder to former Vice President Kamala Harris and many others. This year's theme, Black Dandyism, honored the tradition of as a form of resistance and pride in the face of oppression. It was a way of rebelling through your fashion, said Reverend Sharpton on Morning Joe on MSNBC. You didn't protest with a picket sign just by the way you expressed yourself and said, I'm going to dress up and be noticed despite the fact that I'm living in segregation. That was a statement. I thought what was important about it, gala theme, was to make a statement about diversity while we're debating diversity in the national and political circles of President Trump and others. I give Anna Wintour a lot of credit for having the courage to not cancel it if it was planned in advance or to advance this. It was a great night and everyone got on their best. Reverend Sharpton's show-stopping outfit was once again courtesy of Aisha McShore Designs. In front of a stream of cameras outside of the Met Gala, Reverend Sharpton said, "We are seeing diversity under attack, for it is to be celebrated at the Met Gala, the premier gala in fashion. It shows that we can be dandy and celebrate ourselves even when we're under attack. We will not be defeated. We will not go back." Look at all the stars and all of us that have come out tonight. I think that Andre Leon Talley would have been proud to see us walk this carpet. In the midst of diversity being under attack, we're still here standing strong. Fight for DEI. For the 70th week in a row, National Action Network held our urgent protest against attempts to dismantle and destroy diversity, equity, and inclusion. Each and every Thursday for over a year, NAN and supporters gather outside the office of hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman, who led a vile smear campaign against former Harvard President Claudine Gay and has continuously targeted DEI programs. When diversity is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When equity is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When inclusion is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. We won't go back, we will fight back. On Thursdays, NAN and supporters gather in front of Ackman's Midtown Manhattan office to continue demanding accountability for corporate America and from those in positions of power. Our weekly demonstrations have gained even more momentum as Trump administration eliminates DEI within the federal government and pressures universities to do the same. Many companies have also capitulated to right-wing activists and activities and the attacks on DEI are occurring everywhere now. To counter these regressive measures, NAN has been leading boycotts to support businesses like Costco's who remain firm in their DEI policies. Reverend Sharpton also recently met with Pepsi's chairman and the CEO of Pepsi North America, as well as Target's CEO. He also joined fellow leaders of national civil rights organizations for a meeting with top Google executives. On August 28th, Reverend Sharpton and NAN will lead a massive march on Wall Street to defend DEI and demand corporate accountability. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King led boycotts as part of the strategy to gain civil rights for all of us, and we at NAN will continue in that nonviolent tradition to use our dollars to demand justice, inclusion, and respect. For more information about on Wall Street and for the fight for DEI, visit our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Featured in the New Yorker, Reverend Sharpton was featured in this week's New Yorker magazine for a section titled Powerhouses Inside the Living Rooms of Notable New Yorkers. Standing in his neatly organized living room, Reverend Sharpton posted for this week's issue with his hands clasped in front of him as a portrait of the Reverend hangs in the background. This photo portfolio includes other prestigious individuals like Spike Lee, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, Ella Imhoff, Alex Soros, and Huma Abedin, Diane Van Fushenberg, and others. The New Yorker photo spread is available online at www.newyorker.com. Sorry. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also live via live stream at our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live on Facebook at National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us or if you are not a member of NAN, we welcome you to NAN and invite you to join us and get into the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call us at 877-626-4651 or text the word NAN to 59769. Welcome. Let us welcome our Change Choir soloist Tisha Hunter and the NAN Change Ensemble.
Clap your hands, all ye people. 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 Lift your voice in the sanctuary. 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 Take it up. Shout to God with a voice of triumph. Hey, shout to God with a voice of triumph. Shout to God with a voice of triumph. Shout to God with a voice of triumph. If this is what you're called to do, say, woo! Everybody pray. Everybody pray. Hey, everybody pray. Say, listen. Clap your hands, all ye people. Woo! Clap your hands, all ye people. Clap your hands, all ye people. Clap your hands, all ye people. Everybody, lift your voice in the sanctuary. Everybody say, lift your voice in the sanctuary. Hey, oh, lift your voice in the sanctuary. Hey, lift your voice in the sanctuary. Shout to God with a voice of triumph. Hey, shout to God with a voice of triumph. Shout to God with a voice of triumph. God with a voice of triumph. Hey, oh, if this is what you're called to do, say, hey, everybody pray.
Encounter in the Nan Change Ensemble under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Well, it is Saturday, and we have a line here formed at the House of Justice Auditorium, and Reverend Ron McHenry, our House of Justice manager, would like to know what's on your mind.
Crawford. And good morning to you, all those who are seated here at the House of Justice. To those who are watching live stream, Facebook or YouTube, we welcome you to another week segment of What's on Your Mind, where you, the community, have the opportunity to share what you've been thinking. Ooh, there's a lot that's been going on the news, on social media. I'm sure you have something that you would like to share. You can always share by going to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can dial 877-626-4651. Well, please step right up, tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly what is on your mind.
Good morning, all. My name is Joe Gonzalez, and I hail from Brooklyn, New York. And thank you. On behalf of the entire National Action Network membership, I send birthday greetings this morning to Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, who tomorrow turns 92 years old. On behalf of the NAN membership, we are all immensely grateful for the work that Minister Farrakhan continues to do, and a special shout out because I know he watches and tunes into all NAN events, including today. Happy birthday, Minister Farrakhan.
Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, MC Waters, what is on your mind?
Yes, I'm Ernest Waters from the Bronx, and I would like to wish everybody in the sound of my voice a happy Mother's Day. I'm going to read this Mother's Day poem to you, and I want you all to feel it as though you was giving it to your mother. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We love you. My mom and the love she gave kept the house happy. We had it made. Friendly, warm, and passionate, always full of love. She was truly a blessing sent from God above. She was unique in every way, making us happy every day. Love and understanding, always wearing a smile. Both sides always quickly to wipe it from your eyes. Loving person from head to toe, watching over you as you grow. Thank you, Lord, for giving me a beautiful mother. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Amen and amen. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are in the building. Can you make some noise for the mothers in the house? If you're online watching, we say Happy Mother's Day. The worst thing that has happened is that these tariffs have increased the cost of flowers for Mother's Day. How can Trump's administration do this to the flowers? I have more than one mother to buy flowers for. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what is on your mind?
Rodney Jones from Queens, New York. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the NAN mothers. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. My mother Louise, Marion, and Judy up in heaven. I miss y'all.
Amen.
What's on my mind is Pope Leo the 14th. Born Robert Francis Prevost, September 14, 1955, is the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City State. He was elected Pope in the 2025 conclave on May 8, 2025, following the death of Pope Francis. Born in Chicago, Illinois, Prevost was ordained as a priest from the Order of St. Augustine in 1982. His service included extensive work in Peru from 1985 to 1986, and from 1988 to 1998, where he variously served as a parish pastor, diocesan official, seminary teacher, and administrator. Elected Prior General of the Order of St. Augustine from 2001 to 2013. He later returned to Peru as Bishop of Chiclayo, 2015-2023. In 2023, Pope Francis appointed him prefect of the dicastery for bishops and president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, and made him a cardinal in Peru at that same year. These roles elevated his prominence as a papal candidate
a dual citizen of the United States and Peru. Leo is the first pope from North America or from Peru. He is the first pope from the order of St. Augustine and the seventh from orders following the rule of St. Augustine. In line with the Episcopal motto, in illo uno unum, Latin for in one Christ, we are one. Leo emphasized unity in his opening papal message. His Urbi et Orbi address demonstrated continuity with key themes of Pope Francis' pontificate, such as the centrality of the Kerygm of Jesus Christ, the missionary role of the faithful in working together in synodality for peace, justice, charity, and gave prior to peace and bridge building. Thank you.
I don't speak that much Latin, but thank you. What's on your mind? Please step up, tell us your name, where you're from, and then briefly, what is on your mind?
Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I'm Reverend Ramsey from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm here to encourage the people today that may not have their mothers with them on today. Know that God loves you, and God is like your mother. He is your mother. God is everything to you. So be encouraged on today. Know that God has not forgotten you. One of our brothers in Nan had sent a text to me. It's brief. I just want to read it. He's usually in the wheelchair over here, Brother Delroy. He said, good morning and hello. Happy Saturday Action Rally Day with blessings, Reverend Jermaine Ramsey. Just wanted to thank you for your work with the National Action Network and send blessings to you all on this Mother's Day. P.S. If you can, please give blessings to Sister Kathy Sharpton. Thank you. So I'm reading this because sometimes we don't realize, if people don't always tell you things that you do, you don't have to look for that because we know that our gifts come from God and God's the one that rewards us. But sometimes you have to know that there's somebody always watching the work that you do. So continue to live your life as a living testament to God, because as you do the work you do, your living will not be in vain. If one person you can help along the way, your living will not be in vain. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what's on your mind.
Good morning. This is Dr. Jesse Fields, Harlem Community Doctor, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And I just want to recognize a mother. My mother is passed. I want to recognize her and all the mothers, and Dr. Lenore Fulani, who is a mother who I visited yesterday and gave love to her from Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network. Thank you. And what's on my mind this morning is creating our mental health workshops, which I've been leading in the Harlem community and around the city in person, and also working with social therapists, social workers, social therapists, doing sessions virtually on Zoom as well as in person. So these group sessions are grounded in social therapeutics and community building, which have come from the work that Dr. Lenore Fulani did at the New Alliance Party office at 125th Street and 5th Avenue over 30 years ago, and that work has grown. We've continued doing it. Now, every month, we hold a workshop at St. Philip's Church on 204 West 134th Street. I put flyers on the literature table in the back. May 21st is the next workshop. It's the third Wednesday of every month, 11 a.m. We use improv exercises and poetry to help people create an environment for emotional growth, to shake the constraints, to challenge the constraints, to move beyond the constraints of how things are, to create how we want to live. To quote parts of a poem by a young woman from Nigeria, her name is The Gift Chikere, whose poem we read at a Creating Our Mental Health workshop last Wednesday. Not a finish line, but a dance, a dialogue, a doing that sits with me in the way my people shape possibility out of dust and dare to call it home. Because I've seen healing walk into a room wearing community. I've watched boys with broken fathers find their future in the lines of a poem. Development is who we are daring to become. Growth, the music of meaning, the art of healing, If hope is a place, then I'm learning to live there, to make my work a window and my life a light, to make my art a voice others can speak through. No justice, no peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those words. Please step up, tell us your name, where you're from, and then briefly, what's on your mind.
Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. My name is Sister Reverend Word. I'm from Heaven, born in Harlem. I'm 73 years old and new, and I'm a National Action Network lifetime member. Of course, what's on my mind is Bible scriptures. In particular, Christ Jesus requires us to ask necessary questions, especially of public officials. I really commend the MSNBC female report, able to get some very serious, true answers from the current United States president. One of the answers she got was that this United States president doesn't understand or doesn't even know that he's supposed to protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So I was just giving some thought to the fact that in order to be admitted as a United States president, the requirement is to swear to defend, preserve, and protect the Constitution. So if this current president, after 100 days or more in office, now says clearly they don't know whether they're supposed to do that, is it considered perjury? Is it considered a crime that this person now took oath and now is definitely saying that oath was not a true statement? So my question to the legal minds that are out there, including the public officials who are lawyers, please consider and review this situation, that it could be a crime that this current president committed perjury. Therefore, is he really United States president? Is he really the president? Definitely says he's not going to protect the Constitution. Please examine that. I really, really would appreciate it. And I'm sure a lot of us who want this democracy will really, really expect you to ask more questions. God bless you and answer them also. Thank you. God bless you. Good day.
Thank you so much for that. We know that this president does not respect the Constitution. He continues to defy court orders. He feels that he has so much authority that yesterday, as Mayor Baraz Baraka was holding a press conference with other elected officials, that he could send ICE out to make a spectacle of Baraka. And Raz Baraka, thank you. So we need to continue to be vigilant on this. As we continue to fight these battles, I just want to welcome our youth and college president, Christian Matthews. Can you give him a hand, y'all? As he comes up, come on. Come on, and he's going to talk about what the youth are doing and what is on his mind concerning the youth and college. He's a youth and college president. I got to hold the mic, Chris. He usually holds the mic. Go ahead, Christian.
Well, good morning, House of Justice. Thank you, Reverend McHenry, for calling me up on this wonderful Monday. It is good to see all of you.
It's Saturday, but it's not just you. It's not just you.
Monday, you see, I'm used to Mondays. But anyway, here Monday every evening, we have Huddle Monday at 6 p.m. I'm so used to talking on Monday nights that I'm so sorry. But yes, Monday night, 6 p.m., we are here. Huddle was started by Ashley Sharpton, and it stands for Helping to Unite Dreamers, Develop, Lead, and Empower. And that is what our young people are doing, and we are doing it throughout the country. Even during convention, we had over 200 young people from across the nation, from California, from Vegas, and so in Florida, Georgia, D.C., it's just so many things that our young people are doing. And so bring your young people on Monday, and for those that are across the country that want to start a youth and college chapter, y'all can email us here. Email nanyouth@nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the House of Justice number, and somebody will reach out to you to get you the correct information. All right? All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matthews. The youth are on the move and we have to support them. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and then briefly, what is on your mind?
My name is Brother Thomas Lawrence. I'm from New York, Harlem, and this is a little thing that's on my mind for past few weeks. I'm an advocate of immigrants, but I'm more of an advocate for FBAs that's locked up with trumped up charges, 30, 40 years for nonviolent offenses. Where's the outrage? Where's the politicians to fight for them? God bless you.
Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and then briefly, what is on your mind?
All right, good morning, NAN family. So how many of y'all know that the environmental justice movement was started by Black people? All right, so one of my challenges has been in this fight for almost nearly 10 years now is that I don't see enough of us on the front lines now. I know that we were before, but a lot of this work intersects, right? Environmental justice intersects with criminal justice, intersects with housing justice, water justice, all of these things, and we need to see more of us on the line. I know that we are busy, right? But a lot of these environmental challenges that we're facing, they disproportionately affect us. If you talk about asthma, COPD, bronchitis, and even housing issues, they are all under that umbrella of environmental justice, and we need to be paying attention to that more. Speaking on the topic of youth, it is many of our youth, we're talking about what Martin Luther King started at 17 preaching, right? Claudine Colvin, right? She started at Claudette Colvin, started at 14. And John Lewis started at 23. So young people are leading a lot of these movements. And I'm happy to actually invite NAN Youth to come out on May 21st, where we're actually hosting the Future on the Line Youth Justice Forum. It's our 7th annual. It's going to be at Boricua College. I encourage young people and old people to come because we need an intergenerational mix of people supporting the youth. But what they're doing is they're coming up with real solutions for New York City's challenges. And you can actually go to Eventbrite and just type in Future on the Line, and you'll be able to register. But we need to be supporting these young people. They are rolling back a lot of environmental justice policies, funding. They are basically closing all of the environmental justice offices. And again, these issues disproportionately affect Black and brown people. No justice, no peace.
Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what's on your mind?
Good morning. My name is Rogers. I am part of the National Action Network Men's Auxiliary here in Harlem. First of all, I think it's primary that we say thank you to the mothers and hope that God blesses them for tomorrow, Mother's Day, and we appreciate all that they've done. It is also critical at this time that we be aware that the work continues. Of course, we have every Thursday our protests in favor of DEI. That's part of what we continue to do, and we ask those who are able to join us on Thursdays with that. If you have questions, you can call here 212-690-3070. Additionally, today, of course, is a day of congratulations, the first of a regular masses that's being celebrated by Pope Leo XIV. The leadership that he has developed in Peru, the leadership that nurtured him in Chicago, is the kind of leadership we're looking for right here in New York. So congratulations to the new Pope, and we pray that God will guide him in what he's done. On the local level, we certainly have people like Jamani Williams, people like Tish James, who are doing the work of God to make sure that there is some sense of equity. We want to thank them and wish them well as they continue. There are some people who do the work who are absent. Particularly, I am mindful of people like Brother Bentley from the Men's Auxiliary, people like Sister Patrice, who's not here today, people like Chris Dudley. They are the backbone that keep us going. So we thank them for what they're doing. Under the leadership of Brother Carswell and Brother Griffin, we here at the National Action Network, we are calling attention to what needs to be done and the visibility of our men. The last point I'll mention to you is that somebody mentioned before the oath that was taken by supposedly the president who's in office. Please go back, watch the videotape. You will note that he did not put his hand on the Bible and swear the oath, as most people did. He had his wife hold the Bible. He did not put his hand on the Bible and swear the oath. That may have significance as we go forward. Stay strong. Thank you, mothers. We move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There were so many wonderful announcements, and he reminded us that we have been outside 70 weeks. We're now going to our 71st week, fighting to preserve diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I'm going to say this. It's important that we keep the fire burning, because the opposition has not given up on the issues that they're fighting on. We have to continue to stand up in this season. Nan has been standing up for decades, but in this time, we're standing up for diversity, equity, and inclusion on Thursdays at 12 noon. If you are online, please join us. If you're in the building, please join us, and you can, if you can, as we continue the fight. Please step up, tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what's on your mind.
Blessings. My name is Chaplain Sandra Mitchell, and I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, where we are moving the mountains. We are now going into Rent Guidelines Board testimonies, and we have a meeting coming up that we collaborate with CASA, Community Action for Safe Apartment, and Met Council and Right to Counsel. Is a big coalition. It's going to be Wednesday, May 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at 35 Marcy Place in the Bronx. You take the 4 train, get off 170th Street, and walk up the hill. You're right there. We have free food. I eat that food. Child care, Spanish and English interpretation provided. There's more Spanish that come to these meetings. And come on, black folk, we got to get there. We got to get there because we can decipher anything that's put before us. We can read the legal nonsense. We can pass by anything that they say. We really need you to sign petitions. Right now, we have 13,000 signatures for the rent freeze, and our goal was 20,000. So we're almost there. So we need everybody in this room to put their John and Jane Hancock on our petition, freeze the rent. And I have these purple flyers. I'm going to leave on the table. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what is on your mind. See, you got a red spirit this morning.
Peace. My name is Sudan. I'm from the Bronx. I'd like to thank the Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network movement and the Men's Auxiliary in New York, particularly, but all across the world where they are. And I'd like to say this for the March on Washington, D.C., would keep the dream alive. That is now the March on Wall Street, where we all have some connection to slavery. That the March on Washington, keep the dream alive. These brothers will be there at the March on the March on Wall Street. I would like to say happy birthday to Reverend Brother Farrakhan, and I would like for his Million Man March brothers to show up on the March on Wall Street, because we have a connection. And I would like to say this about the youth. I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and to all the women. And thank you all for the job that you have been doing since the beginning with the first mother. I'd like to say last week in Rikers Island, there was an incident where 9 brothers were stabbed. One I knew who was stabbed 20 times, 18 years old. And they shut the jail down. They did not get in touch with any of the families. And I want to just leave now because I know it's only 2 or 3 minutes left.
Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly, what's on your mind.
Good morning. I'm Brother Garrett. I'm from Oakland, California. I think you guys know Oakland, home of the Black Panther Party. I'm forever grateful to be here today. I want to thank the mothers, and I want to thank my mom for my birthday today. So I'm out here sharing my birthday with you. I could never be blessed.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I figured I'd come out here and hang out with Brother Al Sharpton. I'm a member, but I wanted to come out here and have a birthday with Harlem today. So I'm forever grateful that I'm here on my birthday to see you guys, and God bless me with a beautiful present. I just asked for one thing. I want to see more of African Americans in Silicon Valley. I want to see more of us raising funds. I You guys have done some marvelous work in New York, but I want to see more of you getting out there. All the celebrities should be a part of this, okay? And there's no excuse where you shouldn't be able to give back something to your community, all right? So you should be, everything should be, much work is our forefathers is putting on this planet, in the work that we have done as a people. There's no excuse for, you name the celebrity, and you know where I'm coming from, the top celebrities in music industry, all of them should be giving back millions. We don't care about the money. Money's just money. But we care about us as a people. So you should have them all lined up, giving back. And tell them there ain't no excuse to it. They're raising money for you. They're raising money for the youth. You're moving forward. Okay? If we're not moving forward together, we're moving backwards, okay? So God bless all you guys. I love you guys. I want you to bring some fire to this. I want to see more money coming in to this building. You got it here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Please step up. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly what's on your mind.
My name is Isaac Pluvios. I live in North Jersey. I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here, and I thank Reverend Al Sharpton and you all guys for this platform. What is in my mind is an invitation to a convention that we have in Jersey. The theme of the convention is Pharaoh, Let My People Go. Pharaoh being the world system and sitting on three pillars: corporate greed, unbelief. When you don't believe in God, in the word of God, and in yourself, and bad habit. Those three pillars, those are that Pharaoh that prevented us from going to our promised land, a land of good health and strength, a land of peace, a land of justice, a land of DEI. So I invite anybody who would like to join us. We can talk after the rally. Please don't let money hold you back. If you want to join with us for the convention, we can make arrangement. God bless you.
God bless you, and thank you so much. Well, that concludes this week's segment of What is on Your Mind, where you, the community, have the opportunity to share what you've been thinking. If you weren't able to share this week, you can dial 877-626-4651. You go to www.National Action Network. We will remind you that the viewpoints shared is simply the viewpoints of the contributors and don't directly reflect that of the National Action Network. We thank you so much, and you're back to the hands of our host, Crawford.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend McHenry, and to all that contributed to today's What's on Your Mind. Let us welcome the Nan Change Ensemble.
I will serve him. I will not stray from his love. not stray from his love. Return back for the rest of my life. I will serve him through the storm and the rain, through sickness and pain, for the rest of my life. I will serve him through the storm and the rain, through sickness and pain, for the rest of my life. I will serve him through the storm and the rain, through sickness and pain, for the rest of my life. I will serve him through the storm and the rain, through sickness and pain, for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. I will serve him
The Nan Change Ensemble under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Every Saturday, we have an inspirational word coming from one of our leading pastors from across the country. Please welcome to bring us an inspirational word to us this morning, Reverend Dr. Miles Travis Boyd, pastor-elect of the Sharon Baptist Church in Bronx, New York. Let us welcome him with a warm National Action Network welcome.
Amen. To God be the glory for the great things he has done. I do give all praise and honor to God, who's indeed the head of my life, to our civil rights leader, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Amen. And to the chair of the board here, Dr. Franklin Richardson. Our word comes from the scripture of John chapter 21, verse 6. And it simply reads, "And he said to them, cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast their net where they were not able to draw it from, but they cast it on the other side of the multitude of fish. If you can just do me a favor, just look at your neighbor, smile at your neighbor, and say, neighbor, it's the same boat, but a different strategy. Today we come to talk about the concept of being tired, sick and tired of finding options that don't seem to work. For this is for one who has been grinding, showing up, and putting in the work, but it feels like you're running on empty. We've been going through life, we've been praying, we've been fasting, you've planned, you've pushed, and yet it seems like nothing is breaking, nothing is moving, nothing is happening. And however, in our pericope this morning in John chapter 1, we find the disciples, men who had walked with Jesus, men who had talked with him, men who had witnessed his miracles, who had given up everything to follow him on the water, fishing all night long. But there's one thing here: they caught nothing, they saw nothing, they didn't accept anything. Now, can you imagine their frustration? Can you imagine them as experienced fishermen in familiar waters using the same tools they always use, but their nets came up empty every single time? That's the tension of so many of us here today. We are living in a world, especially in our communities, where people are trying their best, doing what they've got to do, struggling to see no results. You're raising kids in a tough neighborhood. You're trying to run a business or lead a ministry, and you can't catch a break. Your kids are going to schools that are undeserving. You're serving in churches, trying not to go crazy, and you're wondering why, and often asking yourself, Lord, why isn't it working out for me? What on God's green earth is going on? But then Jesus steps up on the scene, unrecognized at the first part, standing at the shore. He understood not to criticize them. He doesn't say you shouldn't do it, you should do it better, but he just simply says, cast your net on the right side of the boat. In other words, you don't need a new sea, you don't need a new boat, you don't need another new skill. All you need is just a new strategies that chart the course for change and not acceptance for people who care nothing about you. And I don't know about you, but I've come to remind someone today that if you choose the right side of the boat, you'll see overflow, you'll see breakthrough, and you'll see a miracle. Family, I come to tell someone this morning, your blessing isn't always in your changing your environment. It's often changing your position. It's not that you're failing, it's not that you've given up, but it just means that God is calling you to shift your focus. God is calling you to shift your position. And I've come to remind someone this morning that if you keep your hand in God's hand, everything will be all right. For the pericope speaks to those who may feel stuck, who may feel overlooked, or even those efforts yielding no results. Whether in ministry, your career, or your relationship, it seems like the challenges are getting hard. It seems like your moments in your life are just frustrating you. But I've come to remind you that if you just change your position and cast your net on the other side, you'll be able to see the blessings that God has for you. Yeah, we live in a world where our schools are unfunded. Yeah, we live in a world where there's a lack of money or economic opportunities in our communities. Yeah, we live in a generation where generational poverty seems to be at a high. But just like the disciples, all night you've been going through some things in life. It seems like as if you can't catch a break. But I've come to remind you that if you cast your net on the other side, you'll see the other things God has for you. But here comes Jesus offering himself, not just to show himself to the disciples, but to allow them to understand that here is the new instruction. If you cast your net on the other side, you'll see the obedience will unlock for you, and you'll be overflow in your life. If you cast your net on the other side, God's vision is wider than your frustration. If you cast your net on the other side, small shifts can bring major blessings. And I've come to let someone know today that it's not the fact that you have not been doing it right. It's just that we got to be obedient to the voice of God. Because when I am obedient to the voice of God, I can see how his strategic wonders work for me in my life. He renews hope and he renews miracles in my life. And I've come to remind someone that if you cast your net on the other side, you'll see the blessing on the other side. Well, there's this story about this young man by the name of Matthew. Matthew did not understand how he was going to eat. So one day Matthew found $5 on the floor. He went into this old gymnasium where they had breakfast sandwiches in the vending machine. And Matthew finds himself wanting something to eat. So he puts his $5 in for his sandwich. Matthew keeps pushing the buttons and the buttons are not working. Matthew pushes this button, the button does not work. work. Well, the janitor from the community center sees Matthew, and he says, Matthew, he says, sir, what's going on? He says, Matthew says, listen, I have been pushing the buttons and nothing will work. Well, the man said, well, if you push the button on this side, maybe you'll see the blessing come out the vending machine for you. And I've come to remind someone that even while you might be going through, even while it might seem times are hard and the going gets rough and the going gets tough, just look on the other side of things. Look on the other side of the blessing. Look on the other side of the miracle, and you'll find out that in all that you've been going through, that your labor is not in vain. And I've come to tell you that if you give God praise in this moment, you'll see the blessing on the other side. If you give God praise right now, you'll see God open up the windows of heaven and pour out blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Can anyone testify that, yeah, I've been to hell and back and I don't smell like the smoke? Yeah, I've gone through trials and adversity, but it was nobody but God. It was God that kept me. It was God that loved me. It was God that sustained me. And baby, it's only when I saw myself in the middle of my struggle, I was able to see that when I looked on the other side, he may not come when I want him, but he's always on time. You ought to slap your neighbor for the first time this morning and say, baby, cast your net on the other side.
Yes, what a word, what a word. Cast your net on the other side. Pastor-elect Boyd, thank you for that powerful message. Let us welcome the Nan Change Choir.
Over there, get right, church, and let's go on. Now, but the righteous shall see God. Gotta live holy, gotta live right. If you want to see Jesus, over there, get right, church, and let's go on. Now, but the righteous shall see God. Gotta live holy, gotta live right. If you want to see Jesus, over there, get right, church, and let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, let's go home.
choir under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to National Action Network Live on 107.5 WBLS. Let us welcome our president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? 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 Hug the person next to you. Tell them you love them. In December of 1955, it was approaching Christmas time, somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Lady got on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She'd been a member of the NAACP and been part of those that wanted to see segregation end. And they had come to the conclusion it wasn't that they were trying to glorify sitting next to somebody else. A lot of y'all misinterpret the movement. It was never about we felt it was better to be with whites. It was that if we paid the same fare, then we gonna be able to sit in the same seat. Right today, if we got to pay the same tax, then we want the same kinds of obligations to us and opportunities for us. So this lady who paid her fare sat down in the front of the bus. Bus driver said, "Ma'am, you got to move to the back. It's against the law for blacks to sit in the front." She sat right there. They did not arrest her because she was a fare beater. They arrested her because she was a change agent. And that woman keeping her seat started a boycott that lasted over a year. But it changed the state law in Alabama and led to the federal law changing in '64. She went to jail as an arrestee. She died as the mother of the civil rights movement. I remember speaking at her funeral with others. Nobody would have thought that this woman sitting in the front of the bus that day, getting handcuffed and arrested,
would ever be on the face of a United States postage stamp. But if you stand up for what's right and you take whatever flack you got to take, but hold on, your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Don't you give up. Your change, I know it will. Your change is gonna come. Change will come. Change will come. Change will come.
I was blessed, I've been blessed in my journey to know two mothers. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. I've known two mothers that had to bear the burden of a whole people. When I was very young, I joined Operation Breadbasket as 12 years old and became youth director of the New York chapter under Reverend Bill Jones and Bishop Herbert Daughtry and Reverend Jesse Jackson. And over time, I got to know Martin Luther King III and got to know his mother. And Coretta Scott King used to sit and talk to us. She would tell me, Reverend Al, why do you use this kind of strategy? Why don't you say it this way? And then not long after that, I got a call from a lady who worked at Medgar College. She called me over to the college. She worked in the school. Her name was Dr. Betty Shabazz, the widow of Malcolm X. And she said, Al, I know your children, your daughters, Dominique and Ashley's getting ready to go to school next year. I said, yeah. She said, well, send them over to Johnson Prep. I said, what is that? She said, it's a private school, Afrocentric based, but with good values. I said, well, I can't afford a private school. She said, no, I already paid for their first 2 years. She became the godmother of Dominique and Ashley. So we had the rare and unique opportunity to know and be in many ways embraced by the widow of Martin Luther King and the widow of Malcolm X. And the things they would tell us up close, the advice they would give us, things that Mrs. King would tell me that she'd see her husband go through, things that Dr. Shabazz would tell me how it was to raise them 5 children with her husband gone. But both of them tell the 6 children that both of them would tell you that if you keep going, they would always warn me, you're going to have rough days. They're going to be beating you up in the media, but if you keep going, your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Just keep the faith. Your change. Yes, it will. Your change is gonna come. Change will. Change will come. Oh, change will. Oh, your change will come. Your change is gonna come. I know it will. Your change. Hang on in there. Go on through it. Your change is gonna come. Oh, your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Change will. Change will come. Change will come. Change will come. Starting with you. Your change will come. Your change will come.
National Action Network Change Choir. Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are listening live, that are here live, first of all, at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And you that are listening live on WBLS 107.5 in New York, and you that are watching us all over the world on Impact Television, with the only black-owned national cable gospel station. We're happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Sister Nancy Darlene Crawford. our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Give Chris and the band some. And give a hand to all of the mothers. Mother's Day tomorrow. End of the rally, we're going to give each mother's, nobody give you a Mother's Day flower, we're going to give you one today. You that are here at the end of the rally. Let's also, I really enjoyed the inspirational message from Reverend Dr. Miles Travis Boyd. Let me tell you, for you that are in radio and TV land that don't know, one of the reasons that it really, Bishop Daughtry and I was in the back listening intently, that you may not know Travis' story, and it's a great story on Mother's Day Eve. Travis Boyd's mother worked in the World Trade Center. And when she was at work the day of September 11th, and they bombed the World Trade Center. And he kept praying and waiting for his mother to call. He came and stayed with us for several weeks. Every time the phone rang, waiting that was to call his mother's all right. And he finally came to terms with that his mother wouldn't be back. And rather than go out in the streets and get on drugs or lose his mind, saying that it wasn't fair what happened to him, and it wasn't, he turned and became a real disciple of Dr. Y.T. Walker. And joined Nan and worked close. He grew up as like a brother to my daughters. And he has now become he went to school, went to college, finished, got his degree, got more education than me and Minister Richardson. And he's now will be installed in a few weeks, and I'm going to be part of that. He'll be installed a pastor of Sharon Baptist Church in the Bronx. Come on, give it up for Reverend Dr. Travis Boyd. I know his mother's proud of her son. And he can preach, when he was talking about today, the other strategy and the other side of the boat, he can preach that because he's lived that. One thing for a minister to preach what he learned in seminary. Some of them take you from seminary to the cemetery. We need preachers that can bring you life and bring you determination and to bring you to keep going no matter what. Because we are people that have had to survive against the odds. No use getting up talking about everything, you know, I see some of the evangelists on television just tell you to smile, everything. No, every day wasn't smiles for us. But we had to smile through our tears. And we need preachers that can help us get through the days that we're in, and he is certainly in that tradition. Give him another hand. When he was using that illustration of the vending machine, I thought about you, Tony. Tony, you got to put a quarter in the vending machine. You can't go to the right side of the vending machine if you ain't put the money in the vending machine. You be up there kicking and trying to break in the machine. Let me also congratulate all of you that have stood for the last 71 weeks with Reverend Ron McKendry. Stand up, Reverend. Marching on Bill Ackman on DEI. Give Reverend McKendry and all of you that's been out there every week, stand up, give them a big hand. 71 weeks. 71 weeks. A lot of people get in and out of the DEI fight. We stay on it all the way until our march, August 28th. We are we meeting right now. We had the follow-up meeting with Pepsi this week. And again, we're telling them they're making some commitments, but not enough to pull back. But we're going to keep going. We also dealing with, well, I'm going to name 2 other companies. But we going company to company, and those that don't do the right thing, we're going to boycott. Now, when we boycott, we don't just announce a boycott. We operate all over the country. You know, every Monday, I have staff meeting in all of our offices. A lot of people don't know we have 2 offices here in New York, but one in Washington, one in LA, one in Atlanta, one in Miami, and Detroit, Michigan, and all of them operate our regions. And we want to let you know when we get ready to hit. That's why when we did the boycott, we went to Costco. I didn't put out a press release. We did Costco stores. And that's what we're going to do as we continue this fight on DEI. Let me say that you that are watching or listening, August 28th is the date that we always celebrate, commemorate, and continue the battle that was in August 28, 1963, that culminated in the March on Washington, led by Dr. King, A. Philip Randolph, and others. And we usually go to Washington. This year, we're not going to Washington. We're going to Wall Street. And the reason we're going to Wall Street is because we want to put the corporate world on notice that Trump may be in the White House and the Republican right may have the Senate and the Congress, but we have the dollars in our pocket. And if you do not deal with us equally and fairly, we have the power to hold our dollars. I want thousands of us in a disciplined and strong way. We're going to start at the African burial ground and march a mile right to the belly of Wall Street, and where we're going to have the stock exchange folk and all see thousands of us stand up on the anniversary of the march. Now, a lot of people say to me that they don't know what to say to people, to organize people, or to say people in their house. So every Friday, I've been sending out to those that have signed up a paragraph. This is what you say to people live in your house, why we need to march. People in your church, people in your sorority, in your fraternity. Don't make you bad if you don't know what to say. Just have the willing, I'll give you the words to say on why we need to march. Most folks don't understand why we march. You know, I hear people say, marching don't solve nothing. Well, that's just exposing your ignorance to strategy. Marching is not designed to solve nothing. Marching is there to dramatize and expose something, to force people to solve it. If you don't raise an issue, no one will ever solve the issue. By our marching is what's made racial profiling laws in New Jersey around the country. By our marching is what stopped stop and frisk in New York, and we're going to have to do it again if they keep going. Our marching is what made them put cameras on police. All that stuff didn't just happen. But when the issue was raised and dramatized, that then made the legislators that we elected have to do something. But you're not going to get anything unless somebody makes an issue out of it. I never forget when they killed in 1999, that 26 years ago, Amadou Diallo, young man from Africa, from Guinea, and shot at him 41 times. Police said they thought he had a gun in the vestry of his own house. And we went up and started having marches, and they wasn't going to indict him. We went down to Wall Street. Bishop Herbert Daughtry, former Councilman Charles Barron, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, all of us, and got arrested, and we were in the police van. And Reverend Daughtry said, you know, they used to do this every day, protesting apartheid in South Africa. He said, we need to do this every day. And he said, let's go. I said, yeah, let's go to One Police Plaza. And we started. First day, 8 of us got arrested. By the time we got to the 13th day, they were locking up 300 at a time. Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee came and got arrested. Susan Sarandon, the Oscar winner, got arrested. Jesse Jackson went with us and got arrested. Celebrities was calling. We had one day for the imams and the mosques, another day for the rabbis. It caught fire because we stood up and those cops got indicted. Now, they moved the trial to Albany and got away, but it started a movement that continued all the way through. So there's a long line from what we went through with Diallo to what we were able to put the police in jail for George Floyd, because we never stopped. And folk that have never been involved, that are experts on movements, they were never in. They're critics, not activists. I heard on What's on Your Mind segment this morning, brother talking about Oakland and the Panthers. And he right, there's always been different parts of the movement. We never had one strategy. I tell a lot of young folks today that romanticize the 60s, that we had Dr. King in the South, Malcolm in the North, Adam Clayton Powell in Congress, Gloria Richardson in North Carolina. We had James Farmer with CORE. We had Roy Wilkins with NAACP. We had Dorothy Height with the National Council of Negro Women, all at the same time. Thurgood Marshall, all at the same time. Everybody didn't do the same thing, but everybody was doing something. Most folks that run their mouth ain't doing nothing but running their mouth. He talked about the brother that stood up this morning on What's on Your Mind, talked about the Black Panther Party in Oakland. I remember I grew up youth director of Breadbasket, New York, as I said. We were not in the Panthers, but I respected they were doing things in the community. They respected what we did. So they said, we ain't in the boycotting and picketing, but we ain't gonna cross your picket line. We said we ain't in what they would do, a free breakfast program, but we gonna support that. We cannot let folks divide us because we have a different strategy. I remember when in Chicago, a guy named Ed Hanrahan let the police go out and they went up in the house and killed Fred Hampton, who was the head of the Black Panther Party in Chicago. He was the one that coined the phrase Rainbow Coalition. That's where Jesse got the name from. And they shot and killed him in the bed. One of his partners that had been out by avoiding being killed. He had been out not knowing what was going to happen. He went and hid because he knew they was after him. He called Jesse Jackson in the middle of the night and said, Reverend, they're looking for me. They killed Fred. He said, I will surrender if you will surrender me to a black cop. Yeah. And his name, he later became a congressman. His name was Bobby Rush. And Bobby Rush came to the Saturday morning meeting like we have here for 34 years. And surrendered to Jesse Jackson and black cops. Y'all don't know your history. Y'all run around talking about, are you with Martin or you with Malcolm? You ain't with neither one of them. You running your mouth, dividing people. That's why on tonight, on my television show, Politics Nation, with Al Sharpton, live at 5 o'clock on MSNBC. I'm going to have Eric Holder on, former Attorney General, to talk about how the structure, they are dismantling the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. they now are saying that the Civil Rights Division is there to deal with anti-Christian bias, not racial violence, not police accountability. And they're even talking about whether the President Trump should pardon Derek Chauvin, who was the one who killed George Floyd with his knee on his neck. I'm going to have Eric hold on. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have the Attorney General of Minnesota who handled the case, Keith Ellison, who was the one that got the police put in jail. He's going to come on because he's going to say whether Trump pardoned him or not. They are in state jail, and Trump cannot pardon state crime. That's why you ought to watch Politics Nation every week, Saturday and Sunday, because I had the right folk on. I'm also going to have on tonight the mayor of Newark, Mayor Ras Baraka. The mayor and members of Congress went out to where they are holding people against any charges that we know that have been, and they're in his town. They arrest him. And they acting like in the press it was a scuffle. No, we're going to turn the scuffle into a movement. We're going to take a moment and make it a movement. I was talking to our Northeast Regional Director, Reverend Steffi Bartlett, this morning. We need to turn that into a movement. Preachers need to be preaching tomorrow all over New Jersey about what they did to Ras Baraka was wrong. We need to pick a day and all of us go out there to where they're holding these people. You can't just arrest a mayor and act like that's all right. You had a riot, harmed people, people died on January 6th, and you pardoned them. A mayor goes and sees if people are being detained against their will for no legal reason, and you arrest him. We're going to stand up with Ras Baraka and Steffi Bartlett and the people in Newark. Let me be real clear. They are now talking about, I want y'all to really follow this stuff. They're talking about ending habeas corpus. I mean, I'm not making this up. Donald Trump said that we are in serious meetings about canceling or undoing habeas corpus. Now, somebody said, what is habeas corpus? I thought you wouldn't ask. It's where you have the right, if you're incarcerated or being held, to a hearing to question why you're being held. If they cancel that, that means they can just snatch anybody. And you have no right to due process. Quiet as it's kept, they're already doing it. That's how Garcia's in jail right now in El Salvador. Now, some of y'all say, Reverend Al, it ain't got nothing to do with us. It got everything to do with us. If they run through Garcia and then run through what they did in Newark, soon they'll be grabbing your son and your daughter or you. Well, no, I'm from here. Well, if they don't give you time to prove that, you'll be sitting up in El Salvador talking about you from somewhere. This must be stopped. And we all must be part of the stopping. That's one thing that I was glad that when they announced this new pope, that he came in lineage, philosophical lineage of Pope Francis, because Francis did come out against what they were doing to immigrants and migrants. And the interesting story about this new pope, they announced, it surprised everybody, because they never thought they was going to announce an American. They never had an American-born pope, born in Chicago. But what they wouldn't tell is they started digging. And his name was Robert Provis. But he took the name, because when you're made Pope, you take the traditional name that falls in lines with your serving. And he took the name of Pope Leo the 14th. Now, Pope Leo the 13th was the one who established social justice in the church. And you ain't got to be Catholic to understand history. People, that ain't my religion. Well, I ain't your religion either. But I understand folks' history. Till we learn how to, I don't care how you serve God, serve him. And if you serving them right, you shut up and let folks serve the way they serve. I get on my knees and pray twice a day when I get up, when I go to bed. People talk, I don't get on my knees. Well, half of y'all got the arthritis and can't get on your knees. So they start digging on this new Pope, Bishop Daughtry, found out his grandparents were Creoles from the 7th Ward in New Orleans. And that his parents moved to Chicago. So they're saying, now, wait a minute, he got some Creole blood. Hello. Now, I just read in the New York Times. I'm not saying something that I know. But I know what Creole is. And I know most of them come from Haiti. Hello. But we must continue to fight. As much as I celebrate that we got some victories in some of the laws I mentioned, it's a long way to go. Those are minor things compared to the major battles. When I look out in this audience and see Terrence Floyd, brother of George Floyd, stand up, Terrence. On the 25th is the 5th anniversary of the killing of his brother George Floyd. And we're going to do some things on that anniversary. Why? 5 years ago, I want y'all to get this. When George Floyd was killed, the whole world stopped. Marches everywhere. Some marches had more whites than blacks. And the corporate world started saying, we got to do something. They started throwing money at a lot of the activist groups. Joe know I'm right. And some of the groups wasn't even in the George Floyd movement. Got millions of dollars, misspent the money. Now, 5 years later, Trump said, now all of a sudden they don't want diversity no more. They don't want programs no more, which meant they didn't mean it in the first place. But the reason that we stood up for George Floyd then is why we are standing up now. We cannot allow them to act like, oh yeah, well the cops went to jail, that's all right, and Trump might pardon one, but they can't get out. No, we need the laws changed. That's why we drafted the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. And we're going to stay on that and raise that on the 25th. It's not over until we change the law. It took from the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, it took them to 64 to get a federal law. These laws are something that takes continued and consistent work. Don't worry about the fly. I grew up with roaches. I can handle insects. Everybody freaking out talking about a fly. I'd catch him with my bare hands if I wasn't on TV right now. Come on, don't mess with me now. We must understand that movements only work if you are persistent and consistent. Mandela went to jail 27 years. 27 years. 16 years he wasn't allowed to even read a newspaper. He was banned from his name being in the paper. He sat right there. Could only see his wife once every 6 months. And that was through a plexiglass window. Couldn't see his children. 27 years. Kids that were very young when he went in jail were full grown with children when he got out. But he sat there and refused to denounce the battle against apartheid. And in 1994, he went from prisoner to president. I remember I was in South Africa for the elections as an election observer. Dr. Walker brought all of us. I was one of the election observers. And I remember sitting there talking to Mandela. I remember when he came to Harlem, came to Canaan. There's a picture right there of me and Reverend Jesse Jackson, Nelson Mandela, and Wyatt Walker on the pulpit of Canaan. If you've been around people that paid a price, like I've been around Mandela, I met with Castro, I met with Arafat, I met with Sharon Peres, folks that paid a price, it makes me understand you don't get nothing unless you're willing to put all in to get it. Talking about Mother's Day, I remember a mother came to me and said, Reverend Al, I need your help. We was on Madison then. I said, well, what's the problem? I talked to one of our people. No, I need to talk to you. I said, what's the problem? She said, you heard about they grabbed these boys in Central Park? I said, yes. She said, one of them is my son. And my son didn't do it. They made him sign a confession. And it was the tears of that mother that made me turn around and say, we need to go down there and stand up for them boys. Wasn't many of us. Herb Daughtry was one. Wasn't many of us, but we stood up for them boys. Now these boys are activists and councilmen, and movies about them. Stand Up Carrie Weiss of the Central Park Five. And in light of this, they're talking about in Memphis, where these black cops beat this brother Tyree Nichols to death on video. Put him in federal court. This is why all of y'all run around talking about vote no matter. The federal government indicted them and convicted them under Biden and under Christian Clark, who's head of the Civil Rights Division that Trump is now trying to disband the Civil Rights Division. And they convicted these cops. Then they put them on state trial. They say, well, they cannot have a jury from Memphis because they're too biased. Because no, what it was too black in Memphis. So they brought in an all-white jury from Chattanooga that acquitted those cops. And they still gonna have to deal with federal charges. We're gonna be with, I talked to the mother and father of Tyree Nichols. We're gonna be there when they sentence them on federal charges. I preached their funeral. Kamala Harris was vice president, came to their funeral. We were there in the beginning, we there now. That's why you see people that been with us. Carrie Weiss, we've been with him all since 90 when they grabbed him. We don't leave people. Some folk are there for the sound bite. We there for the real fight. Now, nothing wrong with having organic movements, but your enemy is not having structured organization. You need both. You need the organic that will keep the attention and the tension going. You need the structure that will sustain itself. That ain't gonna just operate on a news story. Some of y'all run around waiting on something to happen. And then you jump out there. You got these, rotor scooter activists. Just jump, oh, something happened. Hold a little press conference, gone. But some of us understand you got to stay on these issues. change the law. Stay with these families. These families are not going to ever have that loved one again. First thing I ask when we take a case of racial violence or civil rights violation or police brutality, first I ask the families, how y'all financially? Can y'all handle the funeral? Because I don't want people getting online pimping, talking about GoFundMe, and you never get the go or the fund. We paid for he'll tell you, we paid for George Floyd's funeral. And when they settled, we didn't ask for nothing back, because this is what we do. We must have a consistent movement. And that's why when you look at who's in the White House now, if nothing should make us clear that we need operational unity, Donald Trump should make it clear. Sometimes you need somebody to crystallize what you're fighting about so you get the webs out your eyes and understand this fight is not over. And I think that many of us needed a jolt. I was reading the other day that when God chose David to be the new king, he didn't send him a crown, he sent Goliath. Because he had to fight Goliath to become worthy of being a king. Y'all want a crown with no fight. Y'all want an elevation without standing up to be elevated. That's why Jesus said, can you drink of this cup? You want a resurrection without a crucifixion. Some of us are ready to fight because we know that if we fight, God will give us the reward. But if you're afraid to fight, ain't no use in you, Reverend, standing in the pulpit talking about Goliath and you scared of Trump. Ain't no use in you preach about Nebuchadnezzar and you scared of J.D. Vance. Either God call you to open up your mouth and speak the truth, or sit down and shut up and let somebody stand up that'll tell the truth. You can't have fear and faith in the same place and time. Faith cancels out fear. All of the things that I went through, I had to go on faith. People ask me, some of the young ministers, Stephen Marshall and others, that Travis and them, how did you get through this or that? I could not tell you how I got through. All I knew is that I would get through. I know that God would not leave me or forsake me. I've been stabbed, I've been prosecuted, I've been maligned, I've been talked about. I never backed up because I had a mother that taught me if you stand up, God will hold you up. I didn't learn that in college. I learned that at the knee of a single black mama who took welfare and taught her children that God will make a way out of no way. My mother used to always like that in the Bible about how Hannah was praying that she could conceive a child. Hannah kept going to the prophet Eli. It's in the book, Marshall. And Eli kept telling her, going back and keep praying. And finally she said to God that if you give me a child, I'll give him back to you all the days of my life. And on Mother's Day, I think about the mothers that watch their children ripped from their hands and sold from to another state, never knowing if they'll ever see that child again. Y'all remember in slavery, They didn't keep families together. They had mama in North Carolina and sold her children to Georgia. And all they could do is like Hannah said, Lord, I give you my children. We survived on the prayers of our mothers. We survived on the prayers and the hopes of women that got on their knees with tears in their eyes, never seeing their offsprings again, but they believed that God would take care of their children. That's why I can't stand up here now and denounce our women as hoes and bees. I was raised by a praying mother who, even when they talked against me, my mother prayed for me. I remember when I laid in Coney Island Hospital with a knife wound for leading a nonviolent march against racism. First thing I said is call my mother. She'd moved back to Alabama. I said my mother will pray for me. And I know that prayer changes things. I know if my mama prayed, it would get through. And I've seen things change because of those prayers. People ask me now, because you got a TV show and all this, I said the other night, yeah, I went a long way because my mama prayed for me. I remember when I went to Vieques, Puerto Rico and sat in protesting something, and they brought us to court, put me in jail for 90 days. But mama had prayed for me. And Minister Richardson, I did a perk walk in Puerto Rico. But I did the red carpet at the Met Gala the other night. You can go from the perk walk to the red carpet if you just hold on. God will make a way out of no way. You talking about what did I have on? I was talking about the journey that I went through. I never was supposed to be on a red carpet, but a single mama told me, if you pray, God will answer prayers. He'll make your enemies your footstool. And he'd prepare a table. Even at the Met Gala, he'll prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. If you're faithful over a few things, he'll make you ruler over many things. Don't you give up now. Don't you back down now. Don't let Trump intimidate you now. Stand up, black men. Stand up, black women. We're the children of mothers that have made the world a better place. Mary was at the crucifixion. You heard me talk about it a couple weeks ago, that Mary was the only one at Calvary that didn't weep or moan because she knew her son was getting up. 3 days later, because she knew who her son was. They never did say if Joseph was there. I read all kind of translations. Nobody ever told me if Joseph showed up. But Mary was at the crucifixion. And Mary knew the resurrection was coming. So on Mother's Day, I want y'all to remember the mothers that had to bear the burden of raising children sometime by themselves, or sometimes with men that had been emasculated and made boys, and yet she had to make them feel like men anyway. Some of our fathers just wasn't evil. They just couldn't handle the pressure, and our mothers had to help them and us. My father left when I was 10. My mother never said a word against my father. Many years later, we reconciled. I went to his funeral last year. And all my mother would say, whatever you do, just try to be a better father. But don't talk about it. Because some of the weaknesses in men is put with the pressure that they put under. But that's why God gave you a mother and a father to balance this out. So happy Mother's Day to our mothers. You ain't no hoe. You ain't no bee. On your shoulders was a nation erected, broken and names taken from us and robbed of our dignity, but you held us up anyhow. Happy Mother's Day, mother. My mother's favorite song And I used to tell her, Ma, you know that song was written by a slave trader. She said, yeah, but the melody was written by the slaves. If you read that story, they were in the bottom of a slave ship, got in a storm, and the storm rattled the ship until the ship was coming apart. The slave trader that was bringing them from Africa to the United States to be slaves, he panicked. He saw the ship shaking. He saw certain parts of it breaking off. And he heard down in the bottom of the ship, slaves kept humming this tune, humming this melody. They were chained to each other, shackled, couldn't get up and go to the bathroom, had to release themselves right there. If they died, they were shackled to a corpse. But they kept humming this melody. And he saw the majestic strength of these slaves in the bottom of the ship. And he wrote a song that my mother, 200 years later, 300 years later, loved. He said, it's amazing grace. He'd seen some grace, but he hadn't seen no amazing grace. What the slaves had was amazing grace, shackled, robbed of everything, but still humming their song. It's amazing grace. How sweet the sound. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Blind, but now I see. Last 8 years of my mother's life, she had dementia. She didn't know who I was when I'd go to see her in Alabama. She didn't know my siblings. She didn't know others. But one day we were there just visiting her, and we decided it was Sunday. We started singing Amazing Grace, and my mother knew every word. Even through the dementia, she never forgot Amazing Grace. In tribute to my mother, let's end this broadcast. Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
Amazing grace. How sweet, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch, oh God, like me. Oh, I once was lost, Jesus. Oh, but now I'm found. Oh, was blind, but now I see. Oh, 'twas grace that taught that grace appeared. The hour, oh, the hour, oh, the I first believed. Hallelujah. Yeah.
Tisha Hunter, give her a hand. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Everybody's singing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. We open the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today that never joined National Action Network. You hear us on the radio, you watch our television shows, but never became a signed member of the organization. If you're here and not a member, just come down to me, let us sign you up this morning. Just come right down to me. You don't need nothing but your signature to sign up and be a part of National Action Network. Come on, come on. Everybody's singing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. We want justice. We want freedom. Got to have justice. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. All right. We're going to move forward. We're going to raise our offering and then dismiss, and I'm going to give all of you a flower. I want the mothers first, and then the sons and daughters. If your mother is not with us anymore physically, I'm going to give you a white flower. And if she still is, I'm going to give you a red flower. And you had to tell me, don't look at me like I know your situation. You got to tell me which flower you want. I got a thorn for you, Tony. Don't worry about it. Somebody asked how much money you giving Tony. I didn't say it, they did. She said it, I didn't. Tony says he blesses us with his presence. Well, y'all pray for him. He really believed that. All right, I want everybody to give to the best of your ability. Best of your ability. I think I
Thank you
see
for joining
one of
us
our
for Weekdays Live with
longtime
Reverend
members,
Al
Stan
Sharpton.
Mallory in the back.
Take the
Good
time to
see
share
you,
this
Stan.
broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. You got to be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples, Reverend Toon says, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain. They termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week. What would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we do. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, if Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down because we come out of a tradition and a lineage that can do that.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
Understanding of building upon the foundation left by previous generations. But I think you've mastered that, Rev. You've mastered building upon it, but also getting the current generation to understand the importance of when you accept a baton, to whom much is given, much is not only required, but much is expected.
And you do it yourself. That's why most of the people on our national staff here at National Action Network is under 40 years old. You just turned to 41. Most of them. Because I believe in trying to nurture and give young people a chance, because that's what you should do. And they're going to make mistakes. I made them. But then, at the same time, they got to respect those that went ahead to lay the path that they walking down. Otherwise, don't nobody, I said one Saturday morning at a rally, don't nobody urinate or piss on the tree roots but a stray dog. Because your roots is what is permanent. Your branches go with the seasons. Your leaves go with the season. The roots don't change. You judge the tree by the roots, not by the branches. We're all branches from trees that were grounded, planted, and rooted. And I'm a branch of the tree of the movement that I come out of. Somebody else, another movement. But how am I going to all them guys ahead of me to know what they was doing? Well, I'm a branch on their tree. My life comes from the root.
Yeah. That's good.
And he's joining there today. Glad to have you home, Cleveland. This is your home. Good to see you. And you still dapper, too. All right. We are glad to take you in, member of National Action Network. We want you to go to work. I don't worry about you. I know you can go to work. Great brother, good man. And face the audience and welcome him to the National Action Network. Give him a big hand. Give him a big hand. All right. Brother Griffith. All right, let us all stand again. I want the mothers online first, then the children, daughters and sons and husbands, and tell me which flower you want. We have enough now. Did you get the extra? All right. All right. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now. Repeat after me. We're an African people, robbed of our names, our language, our families, our self-respect. But we shall rise, never to fall again. Up, you mighty race. We can accomplish what we will. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Shake hands with the one you next to. Shake my hand before you leave.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
know
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.